gosh, it is 2011. Where have all the years gone? It's America's Game of the Week, the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers, as this rivalry is renewed. It's lovely. 19 degrees here in Green Bay and a wind chill of 5 degrees. And now welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck. That's Troy Aikman. Pam Oliver's coming right up. Troy, hello. Let's talk about Green Bay. We were here last week and we watched the Packers just take apart the New York Giants. They come into this game hoping to get into the playoffs with a win. They are a hot ball club right now.
It's a dangerous team, and the biggest reason for that is because of their play at quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. He's been outstanding, and as long as he continues to play like he did last week, this is a dangerous club. Of course, they've got to win today in order to make it happen in January.
Chicago Bears are the #2 seed. They're dangerous, and they're trying to build on the momentum of putting up 78 points over the last 2 weeks.
And they've got a hot quarterback as well. And you look over the last 8 games and what they've been able to do specifically offensively. Mike Martz deserves a lot of credit for that. They're balanced. They're running the football, mixing it up. It's a confident football team right now.
Let's go down to the field. Here's Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, the Packers will not even get a chance to scoreboard watch. They will not be exposed to whatever is happening in the New York Giants game. It is an organizational decision not to show that score, and it's obviously an attempt to keep the Packers focused on what's right there in front of them. Back to you.
All right, Pam, and if we get an update on the Giants here early, we'll be quiet when we pass it on so that the Packers don't hear it. Green Bay will receive the opening kickoff. Off we go as Robbie Gould hits it with Pat Lee returning kicks today from inside the 10 out to the 25 and knocked down at the 28. Take a look at the offense for Green Bay, and as Troy said, there isn't a hotter quarterback around. How about the week last week? 515 total yards of offense, 404 yards passing for Aaron Rodgers, and Chad Clifton is the only Pro Bowler on the offensive line. We'll be saying it a lot today for Green Bay. A win here today, and they're in the playoffs. They start with a run. Here's Jackson. Right up the gut. Out just across the 35, a gain of 8.
You're going to see fullback Quinn Johnson, number 45. Urlacher here in the middle. He reads run right away. He hits it going downhill, but a heck of a collision right there in the middle. And a good lead block by Quinn Johnson, leading the way for a nice gain on first down.
And as you look at the numbers and you know the names on the backs of the jerseys for Chicago, they're locked in at the #2 seed, but their starting defense is out there to begin this game. They cannot improve their position today. Driver trying to get through Tim Jennings, cannot. And it'll be 3rd down and short. As you look at this defense, they're #4 in the NFL, allowing just 18.4 points per game. Peppers is a Pro Bowler first year as a Bear, and 2 Pro Bowl linebackers with Urlacher and Briggs.
You know, overall, this has been a good year again for this Bears defense, but you look at what they've done recently, specifically last week against the Jets, before that against the New England Patriots. They have shown a few holes here over the last 3 games.
Inside handoff on 3rd down. It depends on the spot. John Kuhn, and from where the officials are running in, now one veers a little bit on the far side. We'll see if it's an early first down or not. And it is. John Kuhn is now 9 for 10 on 3rd down and 1 and picking up a first down.
They went with a full house backfield there and gave it to Kuhn in the middle, and Tom Crabtree was trying to help out as best that he could.
Here's Jennings. First down, Green Bay at midfield. A 12-yard completion from Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that's one of those situations where it's a called run in the huddle, and then it's up to Aaron Rodgers as to whether or not he's going to throw the slant route on the outside. He recognized the blitz. They brought linebackers in to play the run, and a good read and pickup by Aaron Rodgers, getting the ball quickly out of his hand.
On first down, Brandon Jackson. Jackson over the right side picks up 3. Lovie Smith was on the hottest of the hot seats among coaches across the NFL after last year's season under 500. His Bears have not been back to the playoffs since they went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Colts in the 06 season. And here they are as the #2 seed, really hitting their stride after their bye week. Movement along the line, penalty flags fly. Jennings drops it.
The Chicago Bears like to show that cover too, and they did.
Number 71, defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's Alberto Riverone, and it was against the defense. So 5 free yards, and Aaron Rodgers almost hit a home run with Jennings.
Yeah, it was Israel Adonijah right here is who they called it on. He got into the neutral zone, and Aaron Rodgers knew that he had a free play. And one-on-one on the outside. What I was going to say is Chicago Bears, they like to start their coverages showing a 2-deep shell look with their safeties, and then everything works off of that. Aaron Rodgers said he's going to delay the snap count to try to get them to declare.
Here's John Kuhn on 2nd down and 2. He gets nothing. Maybe picked up half a yard if you want to be generous. So 3rd and 2 coming up for the Green Bay Packers. Packers winners last week. That kept their hopes alive as they beat the Giants. Giants are playing right now in Washington, hoping for a Chicago win here and a win against the Redskins to get New York into the playoffs. 3rd and 2. Rodgers dumps it off, and it's dropped by Jackson.
I think the throw just kind of threw Brandon Jackson off. You see Aaron Rodgers, because he gets pressure right away, he immediately gets it out, and between the two bodies of Lance Briggs and Julius Peppers is just a ball that Brandon Jackson didn't appear to pick up real well. Wasn't able to make the adjustment for the reception.
So here is Devin Hester, who leads the NFL, averaging over 17 yards per punt return. Mastay hits it. And a fair catch called for and hauled in by Hester. So we'll take a break, come back. 2 first downs on that first possession for Green Bay, but a punt. Bears have it. No score.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Chicago starts at their own 14. Trying to beat the Packers, trying to beat this crowd noise. And Matt Forte can't get around Clay Matthews. No gain to start the day on the initial carry by Forte, who's been getting better and better. Pro Bowler is Hester, but that's as a kick returner. And while Forte has gotten better, the big reason the offensive line has gotten better. Settled in. 2nd and 10. Forte running right, not much room. A minimal gain of 3. Eric Walden on the stop. And now the defense, the 3-4 put together by Don Capers. They are still without Cullen Jenkins up front. Clay Matthews, a Pro Bowler, 2 years in the NFL, 2 Pro Bowls, and there's the secondary with 2 guys who got the nod. Tramon Williams was snubbed. He was deserving with 6 picks. And whistles stop the play just before the snap.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
You know, Joe, they broke the huddle with 12 seconds to go, but you saw all the shifts and the motions that the Bears came out and are trying to run, and it's really by design. It's something that Mike Martz likes to do. He always does each and every week, but this week in particular, and talking with him, knowing that there's a lot of key guys, new guys on that Packers defense, young players that they're having to depend on, trying to confuse them a little bit with some of the shifts and motions. That time, they didn't have enough time to get the ball snapped.
It's 3rd down and 12. Over the middle, pass caught by Forte, and he won't get the first down. A.J. Hawk, the first one there for the Packers. 3 and out for Chicago with their first possession.
Well, the Green Bay Packers do a good job on 3rd down. We all know Dom Capers and how he likes to break down protections up front, mix things up on the back end. That delay of game penalty really hurt the Bears in not being able to convert on 3rd down.
Now Maynard to punt. Does not have the big leg. He's a good directional kicker. He hits a good one here. That's as good as Maynard's going to hit it. Inside the 30, Tramon Williams. Not much room along the sideline, and he is stood up at the 35. Take a break, come back. Packers will have it for the second time. They need a win, and they're in. No score in Green Bay.
Is sponsored by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Green Bay starts at their own 34. The number 8 ranked offense in the NFL. They run it enough to keep a defense honest, but they make their yardage through the air. A cold day in Green Bay, delayed handoff. Jackson. Not much. He got smoked. A gain of 1. Tino Isamoah was the first one there for Chicago. Here are the early game headliners. The Falcons, they took care of business, and they now have the home field advantage in the NFC. The Steelers, they're the number 2 seed as they clinch the AFC North. They have a bye. In Tampa Bay, they may not get into the playoffs. It depends on the Green Bay Packers and the Giants. But they have a 10-win season, and they have one of the best young quarterbacks in the league in Josh Freeman. Jackson knocked down with a first down by Lance Briggs.
Well, you look at the Green Bay Packers each week, and they like to mix in a lot of different kinds of screens, and they should be good against the Chicago Bears because the Bears are a fast-flowing defensive team, and they fly around to the ball. And already here in the early going defensively, we've seen the linebackers, Lance Briggs, Brian Urlacher, piece of Tino Isamoah, and they are flying around. And so to combat that and try to neutralize that speed, you come back with the screen game.
Starks in the backfield. They fake it to him. Rodgers has all day and now comes underneath to Starks. First down, Green Bay. He's been inactive the last 2 weeks. Started the season on the physically unable to perform list, and he has 12 and a first down.
Chad Clifton, who's had somewhat of an up and down season, as you said, Joe, Pro Bowl player, one-on-one there on Julius Peppers. He's going to be asked to block him throughout this game. But because he does a good job on that play, Aaron Rodgers had time to survey the field, down the field, nothing deep, came underneath.
He's already hit 4 different receivers here over 2 possessions. On first down, over the middle, it was broken up. Anthony Adams got his hands in there, knocked it away from James Starks.
There's a little bit of a game going on. You're going to see here, you've got Chris Harris, and he starts up like he's going to be the extra defender in the box. And that's when Aaron Rodgers then called an audible, went to the pass game, and then Chris Harris drops back into their 2-deep pass coverage. And that's kind of the Mickey Mouse game that they like to run, and that's why Aaron Rodgers talked about trying to extend the snap count a little bit and get a good read on what it is the Bears are trying to do within their coverage.
On 2nd down and 10, pass is caught. Driver dropped it. It's a catch and a fumble, and the Chicago Bears have recovered. An early turnover as Driver caught it, spun, it was knocked out by DJ Moore. Green Bay turns it over. Bears have it, no score.
Today's game is sponsored by Sprint, the Now Network. By UPS, let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. And by State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Chicago Bears came in tied for 3rd in the NFL with 33 takeaways. That's number 34. Tillman recovered. DJ Moore knocked it out. Devin Hester in motion. And this one's batted down. B.J. Raji, who was playing at a Pro Bowl level, did not get the Pro Bowl nod, knocked it away.
Well, we'll go back and take a look at this fumble, and there was question as to whether or not Mike McCarthy could have challenged this call. I think had he of, they would not have won the challenge. It seemed to me Donald Driver had possession of the ball, then turned. DJ Moore knocks it out. You know, the Bears came into this game, you talk about their total takeaways, Joe. 2nd in the league, however, in forcing fumbles. And this is a defense that rallies to the ball, and when they get there, they attack the football, just as we saw.
2nd down and 10. Cutler with time, slings it, nearly picked off by Bishop. Tried to force a fastball into Devin Hester. It's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, you'll see Cutler every now and then. You know, he's got such confidence in his arm strength, and I'm not so sure he even saw Bishop at all. Either that or he saw that he was moving away from where he was throwing the ball and could fit it off of him. But Bishop able to at least get back on the ball and get his hands on it.
It brings up a bigger point with regard to Cutler. But right now it's 3rd and 10. Over the middle, pass caught. Rasheed Davis short of a 1st down. Good open field tackle by Woodson, a gain of 6, and it's 3 and out again.
Well, it's man coverage in the secondary by the Green Bay Packers, and that's the guy that Cutler has to have win on the route. Rasheed Davis is working the middle of the field. It's one-on-one. That guy has to create some separation, and if he's able to, there's a lot of room to run then after the catch. But a good job by the Packers in making a tackle and not giving up the 1st down.
Maynard hit a beauty his first time. Number 3 all-time in punts in NFL history. Now hits a line drive on this cold day, and it takes a good Chicago Bears bounce. Maynard's 2 for 2. He's hit one deep and now gets one after the bounce of 48. Packers have it 3rd time. No score. Some of the flavor of Green Bay. Curly Lambeau. Lambeau's Street Bart Star. The intersection, and then there's the great Vince Lombardi. And if you haven't seen it, HBO has a piece on Vince Lombardi that is brilliant. You want to get a flavor of what the man was like. You see a ring of fame here that's some of the greatest names in the history of this sport.
Boy, second to none.
Starting at their own 11, 3rd time they've had it. Bears have come to play today. They're not mailing it in, even though they can't change their seed. Here's one wide open. Jordy Nelson makes the catch. Good throw by Rodgers and a big gain of 25.
Well, Aaron Rodgers, he keeps the play alive, but you're going to see Jordy Nelson here working right through the middle of that defense, and because Rodgers is able to sidestep the pass rush and then still keep his eyes down the field, he's able to lay a nice ball in there behind the linebackers to Jordy Nelson, who had himself a really nice game last week, Joe. A career high over 120 yards receiving against the Giants.
Including an 80-yarder for a touchdown early. First points of that game. Here's Brandon Jackson. And he stood up, no gain. If you're Chicago, You come into this game, you know you can't change where you're going to head into the playoffs. You're going to be the #2 seed, but you're trying to build on the momentum of the last 2 weeks. And there should be every incentive not only to beat your rival, the Green Bay Packers, and thereby sweep the division, but also knock the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs potentially, because Green Bay has to go in, wild card, whatever, as one of the hottest teams and a most dangerous team that you can find in the conference.
Hey, I agree with you. I mean, this team, because of the play of Aaron Rodgers, if they get into postseason, they're going to be awfully dangerous.
Here's Jones. This is what they do so well. They spread it around, and the minute you focus on Jennings, there's Driver. Focus on those two, there's Nelson. There's the tight end. There's James Jones, who's good here for 8.
Well, and in addition to that, Mike McCarthy does really an excellent job of blending this entire offense into one package. And you see a lot of different formationing, a lot of different personnel groupings. They run the ball, and that's the thing that I think that they've done a nice job of here over the last month, is really establishing the running game, even though they haven't been all that effective in yards per carry. It's the rushing attempts where they've been really good.
Rodgers going to try and run for it, won't make it. He slides down. Remember, he's had the 2 concussions this season, so instead of sticking his chin out, he slides down in the arms of Lance Briggs, and it's 4th down.
Just nowhere for him to go with the football, and trying to get as much as he could before he ran into Lance Briggs. But I know a lot of Packer fans, especially Mike McCarthy, pretty happy to see him go to the ground.
Devin Hester waits for the punt. He has one earlier this season against Green Bay. Line drive punt, and it's a good one from Mastek. Directional punting, such a lost art in the NFL. Mastek keeps it away from Devin Hester. And the Bears will start at their 16. No score. With a wind chill, it feels like 5 degrees down on that field. The Bears have it at their own 16. And hand it off to Matt Forte. Gets the edge. Matt Forte with the best play of the day for Chicago so far. Pepra knocks him out after a run of 24 yards in the first down for Chicago.
Well, misdirection. They get Roberto Garza, the right guard, along with Greg Olsen out in front, and they collapse the edge there of the Green Bay Packers. Just no containment by the Packers, and so Forte, with his speed, is able to get on the edge and get a nice gain.
The changes up front on this offensive line from the start of the season. They have moved pieces all over the place trying to find the best combination, and now they're rolling. Forte inside the 45. Down inside the 40. 2 big ones from Matt Forte, who has been one of the hottest backs in the NFL.
This time they're going to pull out Chris Williams, and you're going to see him along with Olin Kreutz, and they do a nice job. Brandon Manu-Maliuna, he's leading the way as well. Just some nice holes on these last 2 plays that this Bears offensive line have created.
Williams, who played the first 2 games at left tackle. Now it's Frank Omiyale at left tackle. He started the season at right tackle. Here's Chester Taylor. That last run by Forte for 21 yards. Now Taylor gets 2, knocked down by Desmond Bishop.
I mean, this season really for the Bears has been 2 different years, essentially, when you consider what they did, or really what they didn't do offensively up until the bye week. They come off of the bye week, and Mike Martz made a commitment to saying the only way we're going to have a chance to be successful is if we play to the strengths of our team, that being special teams, that being a good defense. We've got to maintain ball possession and not turn the ball over, and they've relied more heavily on their running game.
Now they fake the handoff. Cutler dragged down too late, and the pass from Manu-Maliuna was too low. Raji with pressure. 3rd and 8 coming up. Here's a game break, and Kurt.
Well, the Giants trying to keep the pressure on Green Bay. Hey, he's no Matt Forte, but Eli Manning on 3rd and 11 carries it for 14 yards, led to a field goal for a 3-0 lead, and Washington just missed a 30-yard kick, so it remains 3-0 Giants on top in the first quarter. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right. It's now 3rd and 8 here. And Cutler needs a timeout. Couldn't get his team lined up. I alluded to this earlier for Jay Cutler. He's had statistically one of the better 2-year runs at quarterback in the history of the Chicago Bears. The numbers would tell you that what he's been able to do in his 2 seasons since being traded from Denver, there it is, over 6,700 yards, 50 touchdown passes, most over a 2-year span, all those numbers. And while there's a lot of good, he will also frustrate you by becoming a gambler at times, trying to force it in, and he will throw some killer picks.
I think even as good as he's been over the second half of just this year, he can play a lot better.
It's 3rd and 8. Blitz coming from Green Bay. Cutler in trouble. Down he goes. Jarius Wynn, A.J. Hawk, a loss of 9.
A.J. Hawk brings the inside pressure right between the center guard, and nobody picks him up. Chris Williams has got to squeeze that, but he forces Cutler then to the outside right into Wynn.
No team has allowed more sacks in the NFL. That is the 51st sack allowed by Chicago. Maynard will show what he can do with his directional punting. Should be the last play of the quarter. And Maynard hits it over to the sideline, and it takes a bounce into the end zone. So when we start the second quarter, Green Bay will have it at the 20. The Packer defense makes a play. After one, no score. Back after this from your local Fox station. There are the numbers from the first quarter. There are no points. Green Bay starts at its own 20. Rodgers has hit 6 different receivers so far. And he hands off to Starks. Starks picks up 3. We ask you to not miss the opening of Bob's Burgers, a delicious new addition to Sunday's Animation Domination Entertainment Weekly raves. A comedy this well done is very rare indeed. Premieres 1 week from tonight after an all-new Simpsons on Fox. The best thing I can say about it is we watched it last night in our meeting room. Very skeptical when we put the DVD in. A focus group of weirdos we were, and every one of us was laughing out loud. Starks out to the 30. And it'll be a first down for Green Bay as now James Starks. The deal with him was he's been inactive the last 2 weeks. And Mike McCarthy, his head coach, has said he's got to learn how to practice better. Then he'll be active. Well, they have Corey Hall out with a knee injury, so he's active. And he may get some work here this afternoon.
Yeah, and he's still in the lineup right now. And you think back to last week, Dimitri Nance, he got a number of carries in that game against the Giants. So they want to definitely rotate those backs, give them all some work.
Here's Driver. They're asking him to do a lot, and he falls forward for 1, driving through Tillman. Donald Driver, who's the all-time franchise leader in receptions, is, at least at the start of the day, 83 yards shy of becoming the all-time leader in Packer history in receiving yardage as he trails James Lofton.
Well, he's just been a pleasure to watch throughout his career. One of the really unselfish wide receivers in the National Football League. Does a lot of the dirty work, as tough as they come, and an excellent blocker in the run game.
It's 2nd down and 9. Pass to Driver, first down, as he launches himself a gain of 10. Lance Briggs on the stop, and Driver's trying to get this crowd pumped up.
You know, he's battled through, Joe, a lot of nagging injuries this year. He came into this season with 6 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, and that's obviously not going to happen here this year. But what a valuable guy to have, of course, with Greg Jennings and all the big plays that he's able to create on the outside, but just a reliable inside player for Aaron Rodgers. Donald Driver is.
Rodgers using his legs. There's a flag thrown for a hold. This one, it appears, is coming back. Jennings down inside the 30, but there's a flag back at the Green Bay 32.
Holding number 75. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
They get the rookie Bulaga.
Yeah, there was a twist up front by the Bears, and when Bulaga comes off of that, he does a good job of recognizing it. It's Melton, and he got his right hand on him. And Brian Bulaga, who I think is going to be an outstanding player in the years to come. I think he's been pretty good this year, but he has shown some inconsistencies.
Last week, Mike McCarthy said he's starting to look like a rookie here lately, although I would say on that particular play, it didn't look like he did much at all. It eliminates a 32-yard completion to Jennings, and it brings the ball back for a 1st and 20 to the Green Bay 31. Timeout, Packers. Play clock down to 1. 1st and 20 when we come back. No score at Lambeau Field.
By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by GMC, it's the GMC holiday event. Get the job done right this season with the GMC Sierra.
Because of that hold against Bulaga, the rookie, instead of a 1st and 10 of the Bears 27, 1st and 20 at their own 31. We looked at it from the other side, and Bulaga got a little bit of the jersey of Henry Melton. That's why the flag was thrown, so 1st and 20. Rodgers is in trouble. Down he goes. A sack for the Chicago defense, and Henry Melton, who was held, was in on the sack with Urlacher.
Pretty good coverage. Initially, it looked like the Bears were going to bring pressure. They only ended up rushing 4, and Aaron Rodgers pulled up 1 to get the ball quickly out of his hands. Didn't have anywhere to go with it, and then that's when the pass rush was able to get up on him.
How many Giants fans do you think are flipping back and forth between games, watching what's going on here at Lambeau Field, thinking, stay after him, Lovie Smith? With the Giants leading 3-0 at last report at Washington. Rodgers gets away from 1, and now down he goes. Briggs is there for Chicago. A gain of 2, and Rodgers can't find anywhere to go with the football.
And I think that's the big thing, Joe, is the line hasn't been that bad, but there just hasn't really been anywhere to go with the ball. You see Urlacher and Briggs, they drop out underneath the shorter things, and even though Aaron Rodgers is able to escape outside the pocket, there's just nowhere for him to throw the football.
Briggs already has 7 tackles in this game, and now it's 3rd and 21. Here's Kuhn underneath, and he lowers his shoulder and helmet, runs through Tillman, picks up 7. It's 4th down, but this is what put this drive on hold.
Yeah, this is the look right here, and this is why the penalty came in on the hold on Bulaga after that big gain. Right there on Melton, you see the right hand up on his chest. And you're right, from the other look, it didn't appear that he did much, Joe, but that was the position of the official that then threw the flag.
Mastay hits a beauty from inside the 10. Here's Hester's chance to return one. And Devin Hester, the Pro Bowl kick returner, who has 14 touchdowns returning kicks, has one for 18. Bears have it, no score. Keep talking about Chicago having scored 78 points over the previous 2 games. Green Bay scored 72. And there's no score with 9:46 left in the half. quick hitter, Rasheed Davis. Breaks a couple of tackles and is out across the 45. They'll mark him at the 47. A catch and run of 22 yards.
You get the ball out of your hands quickly, and then as a defensive back, you've got to be able to come up and make the tackle. And if you fail to do that, then you've got a chance for a gain. There's a blitz off the slot, and so you've got a safety who's coming down on Rasheed Davis. And if he doesn't make the tackle, you got a big gain. Oftentimes, you got a touchdown. But the Packers able to rally and at least keep it to, a good gain, but not a touchdown.
Peprah missed that initial tackle. Faking the screen left, they throw it to the right to Matt Forte. And Matt Forte gets 4. This holiday season, it's only fitting that we remind you of the hometown of Jay Cutler, the 27-year-old quarterback. He's from Santa Claus, Indiana, the southwestern part of Indiana. Just over 2,000 residents, and each year the post office receives thousands of letters addressed to Santa Claus.
I've actually been to Santa Claus, Indiana.
And?
Well, I mean, it's a nice place. There's a lot of, as we saw, there's a lot of Santa Claus representation there. But I saw where Jay Cutler played his high school ball.
2nd down and 7 to the Green Bay 45 as Matt Forte, a gain of 5. 3rd down coming up.
I wasn't there to see Jay Cutler, by the way.
I mean, that's really,
I've got a friend who actually has a farm there in Santa Claus.
Really? Sounds like a fun time. You know how to roll.
Oh, don't you know it.
3rd down and 2. Matthews coming on a blitz. Can't get home. Cutler drops it off. What a catch by Forte. Matt Forte down inside the 20. Bishop on the stop, and Jay Cutler from Santa Claus, Indiana, made that play happen.
Yeah, and you got Clay Matthews, who he's bull rushing Jamarcus Webb there, the rookie, and forces Cutler out of the pocket. Initially, Matt Forte was just hooking up over the ball, but then he realized Cutler's in trouble. He scrambles with him, and Cutler's able to find him for a nice pickup.
This is the number 23 offense, 23rd best offense inside the red zone, scoring touchdowns. That's where the Bears are, in position for the first points of this game. Play clock was almost at zeros, and Cutler spends the Bears' 2nd timeout. Take a break. 1st and 10. Chicago trying to score first here at Lambeau.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. More people go with Visa.
Giants still lead 3-0 in Washington. They're in, the Giants, with a win and a Packer loss. Packers are in with a win. First time either team's been inside the red zone. Rasheed Davis has been busy. Forced out by Woodson just inside the 10, a gain of 9.
And I think if you look at the Packers defensively, one of the reasons why they've been so good at not giving up points this year is because they don't typically allow teams to get into the red zone. I mean, they don't have that many possessions against them down in this area. But when teams have gotten down here, they generally have had pretty good success punching them in for touchdowns.
Over 50% of the time. And there is the stat number 2 in the league, allowing under 16 points per game, Green Bay. Here's a pass caught by Davis, and he is knocked by the Pro Bowler Collins. But a first down, a catch and gain of 6 yards.
Pretty good lick there by Nick Collins. He's back there at the safety position and is able to drive on this throw. But not until after they're able to pick up the first down.
That's a 4th catch for Davis. 1st and goal from the 4. Handoff to Forte. Maybe a yard. And that big guy in the middle, B.J. Raji, who, as we said, certainly is playing at a Pro Bowl level. He's really made this defense go up front, and he's working without that presence of Cullen Jenkins on the outside as Raji made this tackle.
He's been real good all season long. He's been exceptional here over the last couple of weeks, and he's picked up right where he's left off here in the last 2 games. He's having himself a nice first half here this afternoon. 2nd and goal. Cutler slings it, incomplete, no flags, 3rd and goal. Trying to get it to Johnny Knox, who does not have a catch in this first half. Pretty tight coverage. Right there, you see in the middle, Charlie Peppra, he's on his back. It looked like he might have gotten away with a hold as Knox is trying to work back to the ball.
Yeah, I'll say he did. Jersey was stretched out, but no flag, and it's 3rd and goal. Cutler brought down, and it was Walden coming off the edge.
Well, you're going to see Walden. He was close to maybe being offsides. He just got such a great jump off of the ball. You're going to see him right here, and he's just able to get right around there. Omiel at left tackle, and Jay Cutler never even felt that he was coming.
The reaction from offensive coordinator Mike Martz. And now a 30-yard try by Gold. One of the most accurate kickers in NFL history is good. And the first points are on the board. They belong to the visitors. Trying to sweep the division. This season, Chicago 3, Green Bay nothing. First sack of the year for Eric Walden on 3rd and goal. Forced the field goal try. Gold was good from 30. Good drive put together by Chicago. Matt Forte a big part of it. 10-play drive, and now on the run it's Pat Lee. Has a little room to run on the near sideline, and a good return out near the 39. And so now Aaron Rodgers will go to the field, and we from afar let you peek into our booth. We're jumping around during the breaks and trying to stay warm, but so far Aaron Rodgers has had some time, but he has had nowhere to throw the ball here in the first half.
No, this Bears defense has done a nice job. In fact, really both defenses have overall here in this first half. And you know, for 2 offenses that came into this game playing very well, these defenses have met the challenge.
Jackson a tailback, he gets it, and there is nowhere to run. A gain of 1. Idonije is there for Chicago. Idonije's had a good year. Came into this game tied for the team lead with 8 sacks. He made the play, and they're the first 4 possessions. 3 punts and a Donald Driver fumble. 2nd and 9.
You know, this offense last week sure was good, and Aaron Rodgers in particular over 400 yards passing. And you know, I don't get too excited too often about quarterback play, but last week's performance by Rodgers I thought was about as good as I've seen in a long time.
2nd down and 9. Pass is too low, too hard, and dropped by Greg Jennings. Why don't you get excited by quarterback play? That was your position.
Well, no,
nobody can do it after you hung it up.
No. I mean, I like it, but I guess it takes me a little bit anyway to get excited about seeing someone do some things that for most people it's kind of, you know, what's to be expected. But I just thought he delivered the ball extremely well, managed that game, you know, as good as could be expected, and is just playing at a high level. Not just that week, but you know, really here over the last 5 or 6 games that he has played.
And Bulaga started too soon.
False start, number 75. Offense, 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Yeah, you know, he sees Briggs, and then he's got Julius Peppers over there, and no question that he moved early. And I think that's been the real frustration for Mike McCarthy is, you know, as good as he has been at times, it's just those types of mental lapses that has affected the year that he has had. But to go back kind of to what we talked about, you know, I think eventually he makes the move to left tackle. That's his natural position. and he's going to be around for a long time, a lot like what Chad Clifton has been already.
A two-time Pro Bowler Clifton. Rodgers now going to run, tripped up and brought down by Adonijay. It won't go as a sack, obviously a gain of 6, but it is a defensive stop. And Rod Marinelli, who has taken over this season as defensive coordinator, has got his team dialed in here today at Lambeau.
He sure does, with a lot of zone coverages and just getting underneath some of the underneath throws and not giving up anything deep, which is, you know, a Bears trademark. Things opened up in the middle. Rodgers thought he might be able to take it and run for the first down, but he didn't get very far.
Mastay just has himself angled to the sideline, can't knock it out of bounds. Devin Hester on the return is out across the 25. Daytona, the Daytona 500 coming up.
Dale Earnhardt has won the Daytona 500.
Checkered flag, perfect.
The win of Daytona 500 is Jimmy Newbury.
The Great American Race this February on Fox, after what is a big date for everyone across the NFL, February 6th in Arlington, Cowboys Stadium, in Super Bowl 45 here on Fox. 2:55 left in the half. Bears have the ball in a 3-point lead. A toss to Chester Taylor. Rather short toss and a gain of 5 as Nick Collins made the stop. And here are the offensive leaders for Chicago.
Well, Matt Forte, as far as running the ball, he's off to another pretty good start here, and we saw Chester Taylor get his opportunity on this last play. And you know, Chester Taylor, who's always made the most of the limited opportunities that he's had throughout his career, has really struggled here over the second half of the season, while everyone else offensively has kind of elevated their play.
Bears picked him up on the first day of free agency. He stays in the ball game, running left, looking for somewhere to go with it, cuts it upfield, crosses the 35, a gain of 4, third down coming up. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning already at Lambeau. Bears have it, third down when we come back. We know this on a cold day in Green Bay, Wisconsin, 18 degrees. There's the wind chill at the bottom. The Chicago Bears are going to the playoffs. The Green Bay Packers have to win here today or they are out. And on 3rd and 1, it's a play fake. Cutler throws, sideline knocks, and incomplete, 4th down. Tramon Williams on the coverage, and not much of an argument from Johnny Knox.
That was a good play fake in the backfield, and you see it there. It goes to the ground, and a ball that was actually thrown pretty well by Jay Cutler, keeping it low to where only Knox could then make a play on it. Generally, if you're going to run a play fake like that, you may be looking to take a shot deep down the field. Nobody running down the middle. Not really a lot of places for Cutler to go with it other than on the outside with the one-on-one matchup on Tramon Williams.
So it's Brad Maynard again. Green Bay has 2 timeouts remaining, under 2 to play in the half. Tramon Williams waiting deep. He had the coverage on Johnny Knox. And it's a line drive punt. Williams will stay away, and it will hop out of bounds. Another good punt from Maynard. 47-yard punt, and they will mark it at the 17. Visa halftime reports coming up. Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights. Fox Sports Ticker will have all the latest stats, and as they look at the playoff picture, it's pretty simple. Tampa Bay won, so they're still alive, but they have to hope for a loss by Green Bay and a loss by the Giants. Giants are winning, and if the Giants win and the Green Bay Packers lose, the Giants are in, despite what has transpired over their last 5 quarters of play. That meltdown at home against the Eagles, and then losing here last week, 45-17. Pass is caught by Quarles. And on first down, a gain of 5. Clock is winding. Packers have 2 timeouts.
Right now, the Bears are just hopeful that them not converting on 3rd and short doesn't come back to bite them here before the end of this first half, and that their defense will be able to step up and make a key stop here again.
Starters still in there for Chicago. Rodgers will pick up the first down and stop the clock. We talked about it last week. That's what he does so well, making plays happen with his legs. Sometimes he'll slide, look to throw, but when he pulls it down and runs with it, he's one of the best in the NFL.
Yes, he is. And I know that in visiting with Lovie Smith coming into this game, he talked about Aaron Rodgers and how well he's playing. Of course, his own quarterback's been playing pretty good, but he said, hey, I've been a fan of Aaron Rodgers going back to when he was quarterback at Cal. You know, Lovie Smith has a great deal of respect for what Aaron Rodgers brings to the game each week.
On first down, sideline broken up, and what a good play made. No penalty flag on Tim Jennings. He came over the back of Greg Jennings, and no interference call.
Yeah, see if there was contact at the top, and you know, you had the right arm there. That's a close play. I can certainly see where they could have gone either way. But Tim Jennings has been a real pleasant surprise for this Bears defense. Zach Bowman was the starter to begin the year opposite of Charles Tillman. But Tim Jennings got his opportunity, and he has really played well.
In fact, Bowman lost his starting job after that first game against Green Bay in Chicago at the end of September. Rodgers has to use his legs here. And now will throw across his body, and catch is out of bounds, made by Quarles. And there's a flag down on the field, back where Rodgers threw it.
Roughing a passer. Number 90, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's the flag for roughing the passer.
Yeah, I don't agree with that call at all. I mean, you see that Julius Peppers comes in, he's going to get a hit on the quarterback. I mean, it was a bang deal, and he didn't lead with his helmet. He actually tucked his shoulder so that he would lead with the shoulder.
And he hit Rodgers in his shoulder pad. I mean, I don't know what else is he supposed to do. That's a bad call.
Yeah, I think it's a bad call as well, and I've talked about it, you know, ad nauseum, just that the protection that quarterbacks are afforded, it certainly has impacted games for the last several years.
Underneath, Brandon Jackson out to midfield. He's stood up by Briggs. And a timeout taken by Green Bay. They'll have one left. Let's go back and take a look.
You see here where he comes in and he's putting a hit on Aaron Rodgers, which is what you would expect. But I'm not sure that as he's coming in and then seeing the ball being released that he could have pulled up. It wasn't a violent hit by any means, but to me it was within the framework of the rules.
And that's Julius Peppers talking to Alberto Riverone, who threw the flag. And Julius Peppers, who will be headed to his 6th Pro Bowl. First time for Chicago they will send a defensive end to the Pro Bowl since Richard Dent in '93. They signed him to a 6-year, $91.5 million deal, 42 of it guaranteed. He was a triple jumper in high school. He's a great athlete. Played basketball at North Carolina for a couple of years, and now a 6-time Pro Bowl defensive end. It's 2nd and 4. Bears back out of the blitz. Rodgers floats it and dropped. Jennings was thinking touchdown. Off his hands, and it's 3rd down for Green Bay.
Boy, what a well-thrown ball by Aaron Rodgers as he steps up in the pocket. Just lays it perfectly over Tim Jennings and right into the arms here of Greg Jennings, and that could have been a touchdown had he have been able to make that catch. It goes back to last week. James Jones had an opportunity for a long touchdown reception last week and dropped it. You don't see that very often by Greg Jennings.
First time Pro Bowler Greg Jennings. It's 3rd and 4. Rodgers flushed out to his right. Throws off the hands of Jones, and it's 4th down. There may have been room for Rodgers to run for the first down. Instead, he threw a fastball to James Jones. He could not make the catch.
Well, Jones started up the field and then turned around. The ball got on him pretty quickly, but you know, he has had some drops. We just talked about the one that he had last week. He had a couple of them in that ball game, as a matter of fact. Had some bobbles that he was actually able to pull in. I asked Mike McCarthy about his hands this week. He said he's got good hands. He just lacks concentration from time to time. That one was not an easy catch to make, but one he certainly should have made.
Mastay drives it into the end zone. 1 timeout remaining for each side. 33 seconds on the clock here in the first half. Next weekend, we're into playoff mode. The NFL's 2nd season. And our coverage of the postseason begins with the NFC wild card next Sunday in high definition. We do not know the matchup as we talk to you right now. In fact, you don't know the entire field in the NFC. The ball was floated for Greg Jennings. That was 1 drop, and then a fastball on a cold day fired by Aaron Rodgers off the hands of James Jones. 2 misses, and it's the 5th punt for Green Bay in this half. Here's Forte, a gain of 2. And these two sides may be content with letting the half end 3-0. There's Rod Marinelli, who has got to be fired up with the way his defense has played here in the first half.
Boy, just not only through this first half, but through this season. And Rod Marinelli, really one of the most respected coaches in all of football.
A defensive battle at Lambeau. 3 points, 9 punts. 3-0 Chicago after a half. Visa halftime coming up after a word from your local Fox station. We welcome you back to Lambeau Field, getting ready for the start of the 3rd quarter. Here are the stats in a 3-0 game. Chicago on top. See the total yards about even. Turnover, Donald Driver fumble, and so it's 3-0. I think a couple things are interesting. First of all, the Green Bay Packers have not been good really since the start of 08, but this season in particular in close games. All of their losses, all 6, have been by 4 points or less. Here they are in a 3-point game. We'll see how that unfolds. And the other side is Chicago. If you come in and you say, well, we're going to play our starters, see how it goes, and then adjust, they have nothing to gain. But why would they pull back with the way they're playing so far here today?
Well, I think that's the question that Lovie Smith is going to have to ask himself is to, okay, well, what's the benefit of this? I think there's something to be said if you get a chance to one, beat the Packers for the 2nd time in the season, which is meaningful to Lovie Smith. But as we talked about earlier, to knock them out of postseason play, I still think this is a dangerous team if they do get into postseason. But looking at this right now and what all has taken place in the first half, both these defenses are playing awfully good football and getting off the field on 3rd downs.
So with 2 teams that have been rolling offensively, putting up points the previous 2 games, it's a 3-point game here at Lambeau. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Just go to itunes.com/NFL. It is a chilly night now. Wind chill down around 5 degrees, which has slowed the offense, I'm sure, to some degree. And Mike McCarthy, his team simply has a half of football to get into the playoffs, and they have to find a way somehow to beat Chicago. And the Bears are trying to validate their seeding. Right now they're the number 2 seed. I don't think they get a lot of respect around the NFL as a dangerous team, even though they're going to be at home week 2 of the playoff season. And here they are on the road against a team that's been hot, and they have shut them down here through the first half.
And the other part of that is knowing you have a bye next week. You know, you got to be real careful as to how much time off you take, but he'll be monitoring that this entire 2nd half.
Danielle Manning on the return. Can't make it out to the 25. So Well played by Green Bay. Little pop-up kick by Crosby and well covered. Let's go down to the field and Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe Lovie Smith summed up his defense this way. He said, please, he said, we'll continue to do what we're doing and hopefully get some momentum on offense. Mike McCarthy, meantime, he says, we got to clean up the little things. I asked him if he happened to know the Giants score. He says, no, there is no need. Back to you.
Well, there it is right in the top right-hand corner of your screen. 10-7 at the half. Giants on top of the Washington Redskins. If the Giants win, the Packers lose, the Giants are in. If they both lose, Tampa Bay is in. If the Packers win here today, they get that last spot. Matt Forte dragged down by A.J. Hawk, a gain of 4. The only other piece of the NFC puzzle will be determined tonight, and that's a simple scenario where the winner of the game between St. Louis at Seattle wins the West, and they're the number 4 seed.
Yeah, and, you know, I would be surprised if Mike McCarthy's not aware that Tampa Bay won earlier. And so therefore, you know, it all comes down to what they do in this game. I mean, it's real simple. They have to win this game.
2nd down and 6. Forte to the right. Good blocking out in front of him. 1st down Chicago as Forte is out near the 38, an 11-yard run.
That's a pretty good start here to this second half by Matt Forte, who had a nice first half running the football. And you know, I go back to Mike Martz and what he has done here over the second half of the season, running the football. Ran the ball more in the last 8 games than they threw it. In fact, he said, hey, we went from just trying to survive to actually trying to have success. There was a stretch there in the middle of the season, especially right before the bye against the Redskins, where this offense was about as bad as you could get. So for them to make the transformation that they have made has been quite impressive.
Here's Cutler with time, steps up, has a man. It's dropped. Greg Olsen does not have a catch in this game. He finally got a shot at one, and he could not make the catch.
Well, and Jay Cutler has time to throw this ball, and it was a deeper route by Greg Olsen down the middle, but this is a ball you just got to be able to make a play on. And you know, you say he hasn't had a catch. Joe, 7 times this season he's been held to 1 catch or less in a game. I keep hearing about how good he is as a receiver, but yet he hasn't gotten more involved this year. And I believe Mike Martz would get him involved if he was as productive, or could be as productive, as what they have said.
Here is Forte on 2nd and 10. Matt picks up 4. Well, Olsen last year led this Bears team with 60 receptions and 8 receiving touchdowns. There's no doubt, though, that part of it has to be that he's had to stay in to help block because the offensive line was so horrendous the first half of the year.
Well, I do think that that's been part of it, but all I'm saying is that for a guy who can create matchup problems like he should be able to, I think I could find someone else who can block and get him out and help out as a receiver, because they do need some more of that.
It's 3rd down and 6. Wide open Rasheed Davis for a 1st down. Forced out by Tramon Williams after a gain of 9 and a conversion on 3rd down.
It looked like Tramon Williams got caught to where he had to defense 2 guys. Looked like there was a bust in coverage there, and he had to make a decision on whether or not he was going to cover Greg Olsen, or if he was going to go on the outside slant or outside route by Rasheed Davis. So he couldn't be right, and Jay Cutler was going to have his pick opposite of whoever he covered.
First down at the Green Bay 48. Forte. Pickett. And Ryan Pickett was there to meet Matt Forte after a gain of about half a yard.
Now, this defensive front by the Green Bay Packers, Ryan Pickett there, and we've talked about B.J. Raji and the others. It's a big group, and without Colin Jenkins, they really do lose something. I mean, Colin Jenkins is a big body that can rush the passer, but even without him, there's a lot of weight up there amongst that front 3 when they're in their base defense. –
Empty backfield on second down, tipped into the ground, incomplete. Off the right hand of Rasheed Davis. The Bears are playing today without Earl Bennett, who is not active. He's got an ankle injury that he suffered last week, and so they're resting him, and Rasheed Davis has been the major target. Cutler with 9 completions, 5 to Davis, 4 to Matt Forte. 3rd and 9. Blitz off the edge. Cutler over the middle, completes it. Forte won't get the first down. In the arms of A.J. Hawk. And Hawk held up Forte at the 42 yards short of a first down.
Good recovery by A.J. Hawk. Matt Forte, when he got off the ball, he got A.J. Hawk to turn around and had his back to the line of scrimmage there briefly, but he was able to recover and then make a tackle on Matt Forte short of the first down. And based on where they're at right now on the field, I'm not surprised at all that the Bears will be going for it.
4th and 2. That ball is knocked into the air, incomplete. Trying to again get it to Rasheed Davis, and the Packer defense holds on 4th and 2. Good field position at their own 40 for Green Bay, down by 3.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the Ford F-150 and its 4 new engines. This is the future of truck. By Pizza Hut. Your favorite plays deserve your favorite pizza. Your favorite's your Pizza Hut. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
That ball just slipped out of the throwing hand of Jay Cutler, and now here's an opportunity for Aaron Rodgers in this Green Bay offense to get something going. Down by 3. This matches their best starting field position of the game. Rodgers still trying to find somewhere to go. Picked off Tillman. Interception by Charles Tillman. What a catch. There's an extra football on the field on the far sideline, and Tillman is still on his feet down at the 15. The 11th interception thrown by Aaron Rodgers.
What an unbelievable play here by Charles Tillman, laying out and being able to secure the ball for the interception. You know, once again, Aaron Rodgers having to scramble around and just no clean throws.
That ball moved some when Tillman came to the ground, and Mike McCarthy has thrown the red challenge flag. There was another football out on the field that got off the Bears sideline and was rolling around where the players were trying to bring down Tillman. Here's another
Green
look.
Bay is challenging the ruling on the field of an interception.
It's a challenge by Green Bay. We'll get the call when we come back. Did Tillman have it? We will ask for the assistance of Mike Pereira, who was the director of officiating for the NFL prior to joining us at Fox this season. It's a challenge by Green Bay. And Mike, the question first of all on Tillman's interception, did he maintain possession going to the ground? And then the other part, did the ball hit the ground here?
Yeah, hey, Joe, that's the big question here. Is the ball on the ground? Because he does lose possession here, and that you could see him losing possession. So it's at this point right here, does the ball ever get to the ground? And when you stop here, looks like the ball does bounce off the ground, although I got to tell you, they ruled it an interception, and we sometimes get away from that initial ruling point. But, you know, again, I look at this play. We're going to look at this action right here. Ball does touch the ground and then comes loose. I think you got to overturn this to an incomplete pass.
Remember, the Chicago Bears in week 1 were winners at home over the Detroit Lions when a Calvin Johnson catch was ruled not a catch on a touchdown that would have given Detroit a win. Here's the call.
The ruling on the field of an interception stands. Green Bay will be charged with a timeout, and that is their first challenge.
So it cost Green Bay a timeout. The bigger point is, according to Alberto Riverone, that ball did not hit the ground, and there will be much debate about that depending on what happens the rest of this drive and eventually the end of this game. And Mike McCarthy, I'm sure, is shocked after would imagine coaches in the booth told him that ball came loose.
Yeah, I thought, though, looking at it, you could make the argument that his hands were underneath the ball at the time that, it simultaneously hit the ground. So I just thought it was awfully close. And as Mike said, the ruling, as it was an interception, it was a hard one to overturn, I thought.
It was a 42-yard return by Tillman. And now starting at the 15, Forte runs into the arms of Matthews, and there's a flag down.
Well, that flag that got thrown came in way late.
They're going to take you to a game break.
Holding number 63. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
They get Garza, and we go for a game break. Here's Kurt.
Well, the Giants have been struggling against the Redskins to start the second half with only a 3-point lead. That is until Eli Manning and Mario Manningham hook up for a 92-yard touchdown. Giants now lead at 17-7. And as you have said before, Joe, if the Giants win and Green Bay loses, New York is in the playoffs. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, Kurt, 1st and 20 for Chicago. From the 25, Matt Forte out of the backfield. Can't get around A.J. Hawk. And Hawk got help from Woodson. No gain. 2nd and 20. Let's go back to the penalty on the hold on Roberto Garza.
Yeah, Roberto Garza. Yeah, he's got, you see him on the left of the screen there, he's got Ryan Pickett by the chest, which is what was called. But a nice play there by A.J. Hawk. The Bears try to run the screen there on 2nd down, or on 1st down, and it was executed very well defensively by the Packers.
So on 2nd and 20, Cutler runs out of time and then runs into the arms of Walden. Walden, who has his first sack of the year, makes a play there, chasing down Cutler, a gain of 1.
That Cutler, he's able to escape, and what we've seen from Aaron Rodgers is what we see here of Jay Cutler, that he's got a little bit of time, but just nobody on the back end helping him out. And Cutler could have just gotten rid of that ball and avoided a hit. He only picked up about a yard on the play.
No sack. A gain of a yard, and so now 3rd and 19. Cutler with time. End zone. Intercepted. Pepra. Cutler tried to force it to Johnny Knox. Charlie Pepra has his 2nd pick of the year. Packers take over down 3.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun.
The interception by Pepra. Each quarterback throws one here to start the second half. And now Rodgers hands off to Brandon Jackson, who picks up 2. Julius Peppers on the stop, back to the interception by Charlie Pepra.
Well, you're going to see Jay Cutler is a little bit late on the throw. He's not able to get a lot into it, but Charlie Pepra, he is on, they're throwing it to the short side of the field on a corner route, and where he's positioned, it's an easy interception. I mean, Cutler recognizes the coverage, sees what he's got, but for whatever reason, he just turned the ball loose late. He did that a few times last week against the Jets, got away with it. That was a huge interception in giving up an opportunity to at least come away with 3 points.
Jennings catches 1 for 6. This is a Green Bay defense that took it away 6 times last week against the Giants. They get their first takeaway here today. And now it's 3rd down and 2 coming the other way for the Packers, down by 3.
I'm sorry, Joe. It's a secondary, the Packers is. It's very opportunistic. 3rd in the NFL coming into the game with 22 interceptions. You hang balls up like that, they're going to get picked off.
On 3rd down, Rodgers going to go for Jennings. Overthrown. And so Aaron Rodgers, who has been a hot quarterback, throws the interception. Pepra gets one to give it back to him, and now it's 3 and out.
Yeah, you see Greg Jennings, he had a step, pretty tight coverage. On the other side, he had Andrew Corliss, who had about 3 steps on his guy. But you know, as good as Aaron Rodgers was and this offense was last week, they just have not been able to really get any type of momentum, rhythm going, and a lot of that is because of this play by the Bears defense. They've been excellent.
Hester will stay away, and it takes a good Packer bounce. Green Bay offensively has one play greater than 12 yards all game. They've done nothing against Chicago's defense. Bears have it up 3. Giants doing what they have to do, winning at Washington. They are in if Green Bay loses. Cutler, receiver fell down, and then like a defensive back, Johnny Knox gets his hand up and knocks it away from Tramon Williams, who was sizing up his 7th interception.
Yeah, well, Johnny Knox is getting challenged the entire way down the field. Contact at the top of that route. You're right. Tramon Williams thought he was going to get an interception there. Johnny Knox, who, as you said, he fell at the top of the route, but he does do a good job of at least getting up and knocking the ball down. Otherwise, it's going right into the stomach of Tramon Williams.
2nd and 10. Knox has been shut out. 960 receiving yards coming in. Quick throw right into the ground. Rashid Davis. And it's 3rd and 10. This is a defense for Green Bay that's ranked 9th in the NFL. As you watch this ball go right into the ground. And a little tip by Woodson on its way. Brings up 3rd and 10. Capers has put this defense together, played through injury. A big chance for this Packer defense. Over the middle, pass is caught, but short of a 1st down. Rashid Davis again. Walden is there, and it's 3 and out for Chicago.
Well, I saw what Jay Cutler saw. Davis, he's running a slant route, looked like he was open, could have been a better ball, but then Jay Cutler sees Color out in front of him by the Green Bay Packers, and he couldn't lead them the way that he had wanted to. Charles Woodson has been very impactful here over the last 4 or 5 defensive snaps. Came on the blitz off the edge, and Forte picks it up, but Cutler knew he had to get it out.
And now Maynard. It's a good one. He's had a nice day. A cold day here at Lambeau. Tramon Williams. Room to run. Maynard can't stop him. Kellen Davis drives him out of bounds. 41-yard return. Exactly what Green Bay needed, down by 3. They'll start inside Chicago territory. Temperature has dropped to 14 degrees, wind chill 3 degrees. 41-yard return by Tramon Williams. Sets up Green Bay at the Chicago 44. It's Starks. And Starks plows ahead just shy of the 40, a carry of 4 yards back to that return.
Well, Zach Bowman, he's able to get down the field and put a little pressure here on Tramon Williams. If he's able to break down, not an easy tackle for him to make running full speed, but there were some other opportunities down the field, and Tramon Williams just did a good job of running with the football once he got a lane, giving this Packers offense great field position finally.
Came in hearing about Devin Hester with good reason. The Packers wary of punting to him. Special teams advantage for Chicago, and it's play made by Tramon Williams. Penalty flag will fly as Jennings was interfered with by Jennings. Greg
Pass
by Tim.
interference. Number 26, defense. The ball will replace the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Pretty physical right there from the snap. Tim Jennings trying to get inside leverage there on Greg Jennings, and then up front with Chad Clifton and Julius Peppers with the hand to the headgear.
That interference is a 6-yard penalty and a first down. Starting to creep toward field goal range for Crosby. 52-yarder from here. Rodgers hits Jennings in stride. Down to the 1.
Well, Brandon Jackson does an excellent job picking up the blitz off the slot, and a nice route at the top. Tim Jennings, he slips when Greg Jennings runs the dig route, but because of the protection and the nice job by Brandon Jackson in protection, it allowed Aaron Rodgers to throw that ball with some confidence.
Longest play from scrimmage for Green Bay, 33 yards to Greg Jennings to the 1. The crowd wants John Kuhn, number 30, to carry it. He gets it, and he goes nowhere. First guy there was Adonijay, and it's 2nd and goal.
So exact same formation, same play they ran when they got down in here earlier in the ball game. When you try to run it, they haven't had much success running it here against this Packers front. I would expect that they'll go play action here on 2nd down.
Starters still in for Chicago. Trying to knock out the Green Bay Packers. 2nd and goal. Rodgers drops it back for Jackson, and Jackson will lose yardage back to the 4.
Well, Aaron Rodgers tries to fake it like he's going to run the quarterback sneak, and he got caught up in the line of scrimmage. Tried to sell it a little too much, actually. When he came back, he then failed to make a good throw, and they I don't know about that call there. I just think the Packers are too good in too many other areas to try something like that, but they lost yardage.
Remember, that's a lateral, so that ball was live. Now it's 3rd and goal. Rodgers steps up. Down he goes, and the play made by Tommy Harris. What a stop by the Chicago defense. A 1st and goal from the 1, and a sack for Tommy Harris on 3rd and goal.
Well, look how he plays here. I mean, he's stumbling around. You got College who's on him, but he kept playing. He just kept playing. He was on the ground a couple of times trying to get his footing, and he just kept playing, and then saves what could have been an easy touchdown.
So a 23-yard try by Crosby. The return by Tramon Williams set it up. Questionable play calling, and a 1st and goal from the 1. Nets only 3 points. Tie game. Tommy Harris came into this game with just half a sack on the year. He got a full one on 3rd and goal on this play, and as you said, he just kept playing.
Yeah, it's a nice job by him, and in what has been a disappointing season for him. There's no question the expectations have been awfully high for him throughout his career, and he came into this league and played at a very high level, and then battled through some injuries and got benched earlier in the year. He's playing better than what he was at that time, and that's why he's recaptured his starting job, but he makes a heck of a play right there to save a touchdown, keep this score tied.
Crosby hits it high, and it is returned by Danielle Manning. He's a good one too. Danielle Manning out to the 49. And there is that advantage that the Bears have on special teams. It's a 26-yard return on a short kick by Crosby. Danielle Manning, who is number 5 in the NFC returning kicks, averaging over 25 yards per return, has a good one here. And the Bears just keep playing. They marked him up at midfield. So that's where Chicago starts in a 3-3 game. They fake it to Chester Taylor. All day for Cutler. All day just ran out. Down he goes. Howard Green.
Well, Mike Martz with the great field position. He wants to take a shot down the field. They see Hester, running on the post route. They had him with Tramon Williams, but he's getting helped by the safety Collins over the top. And even though Cutler had time, you had to wait for that thing to develop to see if there was going to be a shot down the field. And by the time he realized there wasn't, he ends up taking the sack.
Howard Green, first one there, claimed on October 27th after being released by the Jets. Second down and 19. Cutler backpedaling as he throws to Olsen. Pass complete. There's Eric Walden again, free agent out of Middle Tennessee State. He's been all over the place in this game. Cotton Bowl is coming up. AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic, and that matchup right here on Fox. It's 3rd down and 15.
I think we need 1 or 2 more bowl games. Then that'd be just about right.
This one is for a berth in the playoffs for Green Bay. Big 3rd down for Chicago. Just a 3-man rush. Underneath. Pass is caught. And it's a 1st down, Chester Taylor. And now they're saying
Prior
no
to
play.
the snap, Chicago called a timeout. That is the first. This will be a 30-second timeout.
This crowd has never been happier to hear of a Chicago timeout.
No kidding.
So there's no play, Troy. That takes a 1st down off the board.
You've got to believe it came from the sideline then, and Mike Martz.
Martz or Lovie Smith or somebody over there, because it didn't happen on the playing field.
It looked like Lovie still had his hands in his pocket, so yeah.
Let's take a look at the sideline.
See some clapping going on right there, but I don't know if he was calling a time. I don't know. Couldn't tell exactly if that's what they said. Well, there it is right there. It was Lovie Smith.
Lovie Smith went right to the official at the 45 and called it 3rd down and 15. Again. Cutler sacked again. Eric Walden has had a tremendous day.
Eric Walden right here. He comes late on a delayed blitz. He first lets the offensive line get engaged with the defensive front, and then he came, and Cutler couldn't find any. We're seeing that really with both of these quarterbacks. Both these secondaries have done a nice job of covering people up and just not giving their quarterbacks anywhere to go with the ball.
On a bounce, Tramon Williams, coming off that big return, gets 1 block and can at least take it out near the 24. 41-yard punt by Brad Maynard. So that timeout, but a big turn of events in Green Bay's favor. Timeout called by the sideline and Lovie Smith. They're the offensive leaders for Green Bay, who just had a 1st and goal from the 1 and went backward. It's a 3-3 game, and it was a catch of 33 yards by Jennings that set it up, but the Packers could not pound it in. 32 seconds left in quarter number 3. Starks at tailback. Rodgers drops it off to him, and he is met immediately. A gain of 3. Urlacher is there, and Urlacher is headed to his 7th Pro Bowl. He's had a resurgence. A big part of it is Rod Marinelli taking over at defensive coordinator. Marinelli's made that defensive line play better in front of Urlacher, and Brian's been there. He's their leading tackler. 3-3 game after 3. Back after this from your local Fox station. Two hot offenses coming into this game are trading body blows from the two defenses. It's 2nd down and 7 as we start the 4th quarter. The Bears had a 1st down taken off the board because of a timeout called by the sideline. Packers took advantage of another chance. This could be on the defense and Corey Wooten, the rookie who came across, and it will be on number 98.
Neutral zone infraction, number 98, defense. 5-yard penalty.
We'll go back and take a look at it. You see here the assistant coach who begins signaling timeout. He's got a headset on, so he's talking in the headset that there should be a timeout. And here's Lovie Smith then. And so, piecing this thing together, it appeared that the assistant coach was talking to Lovie Smith through the headset, signaling to call a timeout. That's when Lovie did, right before the snap of that ball.
Here's John Kuhn fighting for yardage, and Kuhn will lose half a yard. And so now, after getting the 5 free yards with Wooten coming across, it's 3rd down, and the running game is non-existent for the Green Bay Packers here today.
They haven't been very good all season long running the football, and we know that, but boy, they have really been shut down in this one.
46 yards running, and couldn't get in from the 1 on 1st and goal. 3rd and 3. Four-man rush, pass is caught. 1st down, Donald Driver, and a big completion on 3rd down by Aaron Rodgers. 21 yards to number 80.
Well, we talked about how the Bears like to disguise. You're going to see right here that first they show that they're going to be man-to-man, single deep safety, but they go to their 2-deep shell, which opens up the middle of the field. Aaron Rodgers, he recognizes it, sees it. Donald Driver recognizes it as well. He takes the middle of the field, and just a nice completion there by 2 veteran players.
5th catch for Driver. They fake the handoff. Rodgers with plenty of time has a man. What a throw! Down to the 1 is Jennings again. .46 yards from Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Aaron Rodgers wanted to go to his left side, but they had safety help, and he wasn't open, so he comes back then to his front side. Initially, the safety to that side was in a great position to make a play on Greg Jennings, but instead he drove on Donald Driver in the middle of the field, which opened up the sideline throw for Aaron Rodgers.
DJ Moore saved the touchdown with a tackle, and here are the Packers again. They fake the handoff, wide open Donald Lee, touchdown Green Bay. The 46-yarder to Greg Jennings set it up. And then Aaron Rodgers found his 9th different receiver of the game. His name, Donald Lee. First touchdown of the afternoon. Packers up by 7.
Today's game is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Start the year right at Subway. Subway, eat fresh. By Windows 7. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, this place just got a lot warmer for the Green Bay Packers and their fans. 10-3 with 12:42 left. Donald Lee has touchdown catch number 3. None of them as big as that. As Crosby hits a line drive. And they caught Manning up, expecting a pop-up kick. And Crosby drove it over his head.
We'll go back to the big play down the field. Here's Daniel Manning, the safety, and he's in a great position to cover Greg Jennings on the outside. But when Aaron Rodgers looked to his left, it caused Daniel Manning then to drive on Donald Driver over the middle of the field. And it opened up that sideline route then for Greg Jennings. And then this is the touchdown. I think Mike McCarthy just said, hey, I've had enough of trying to run it down here. We'll just, on first down, go play action. You know, the Bears have been overcommitting down there on the run, have been successful stopping it, and just a nice call there by Mike McCarthy.
Here's Forte. Gets a yard. Howard Green, the first guy there. Again, you say this about Chicago, and this is probably saying it one time too many, but they came in, Troy, with nothing to gain except a chance to sweep in their own division, a chance to knock out Green Bay. No matter what happened today, they were going to go into the playoffs as the #2 seed. Their starters have played throughout. They've played hard. Now they trail by 7. 2nd and 9. Blitz broken up. Bishop made the play on Johnny Knox.
You know, it'll be interesting though, Joe, is if the Bears get down by 10 points or get down by 14 points, then what Lovie Smith would decide to do. I mean, in light of the way this game has unfolded, and also based on what Lovie had said during the week leading up to this game, I don't know that he's in a position right now to just pull his guys out. I think that this game's got to get a little bit further because of the score.
3rd down and 9. Another blitz. They keep coming. Cutler fires incomplete off the hands of Sam Shields. Intended for Johnny Knox, and it's 3 and out again.
Well, Hero, about the last 9 or 10 defensive snaps, we've seen Charles Woodson, number 21, coming just about every time. Tight coverage there on the outside. Sam Shields, who has really grown remarkably. I mean, the fact that the guy can play 1 year as a defensive back in college and be able to do the things that he's done this year and play more than anybody would have anticipated, that's awfully impressive.
This punt takes a hop. And just happy to hang on cleanly is Tramon Williams. They will start at their own 46. Great field position for the Pack, up 7. Packers have it up by 7, starting at their own 46. They're just saying roll out the barrel here at Lambeau Field. Defense has played great for the Packers. Rodgers keeps it. Airs it out. Greg Jennings overthrown. Tim Jennings defending for Chicago. And it's still the starters in there, Urlacher and the rest of them, for the Chicago Bears. As you say, I mean, the competitor in you's got to keep the starters in the ball game. Obviously, there's a risk of an injury. You think about New England last year losing Wes Welker in Week 17. They ended up losing a playoff game at home to the Baltimore Ravens, but Chicago has played a good game, and they're staying after it. Toss to Starks. Penalty flag flies. Starks running hard. Got about 10, but a flag is down.
Holding number 75. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
They get Bulaga for his second hold of this game.
Yeah, the other one might have been questionable, but I don't think this one was. He tackled the guy here. You can see him, number 75, and you know, with an inside release, he gets his left arm around his neck and brings him down. You know, you talk about Lovie Smith playing the starters, Joe. The thing that I've been impressed with as a player, I've been in this situation before, and you usually go into the game thinking you're not going to play the entire game or it's a half-hearted effort. And I've been impressed with what I've seen, especially this defense. I mean, these guys, Julius Peppers, Brian Urlacher, Brigham, these guys are playing hard.
They play great. Here's Starks. He's been the most impressive running back easily for Green Bay in this game. On second down and 20, you saw that stat. It was a Packers franchise record. With 18 penalties they committed in that September 27th game at Chicago, a 3-point Bears win. They have 3 penalties in this game, and Bulaga, the rookie right tackle, has all 3.
And I think that sometimes when you're playing a team for the second time within your division, you think back to that first game and all those penalties, and okay, well, that's why we didn't play so well and why we lost. It's a much better Bears team, as we pointed out today, than what they were back in week 3.
Setting up a screen for Jordy Nelson. Has blocking in front of him, and Nelson is wrestled down a yard shy of a first down by Tim Jennings.
I think Jordy Nelson kind of made a bad decision there at the end of that run, because James Jones was doing a pretty good job on Tim Jennings, and had he have just stayed inside of that block, he picks up the first down pretty easily. Instead, Jordy Nelson veered off towards the sideline, and then Jennings was able to make the play.
It's 4th down and 1, and Mastay comes out, and his job is to keep it out of the hands of Devin Hester.
Easier said than done.
Pops it up. Hester stays away, and it takes a good Green Bay bounce. They're going to mark it inside the 5. A 42-yard punt. Bush was down to touch it. Good work by Mastay. Bears have it down 7.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
We'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching today's broadcast in 175 countries on AFN, the American Forces Network. We thank you for all you do, and we hope you're enjoying this telecast on January 2nd, 2011. 10-3 Green Bay. They win. They're in the playoffs. Chicago starting at their own 3. They start with a throw over the middle. Pass caught by Olsen. And Greg Olsen is knocked down at the 9. A gain of 5. Desmond Bishop on the stop.
Well, they have been able to get Olsen going a little bit better. I mean, not much offense to speak of for the Bears, but he has had a couple of opportunities, more than what we've seen in some other games this year.
Talk about not much offense, Troy. Only 7 first downs this game for Chicago. 2 in this half, and it's 2nd and 5. This is Forte. First down. Knocked out of bounds into a cameraman by A.J. Hawk is Matt Forte. A gain of 7.
And to kind of go back, Joe, to what we're talking about as far as the Bears continuing to play their guys. Remember back 7 years ago when Lovie Smith was named the head coach in Chicago. I mean, he right there at the introductory press conference, he said the #1 goal is to beat the Packers. And this is a meaningful rivalry to him, and this is a meaningful game, and it's showing based on how he's playing it here.
Sam Shields came on late, had to sprint to the far side of the field. Now he's lined up across from Aroma Shadu. It's a handoff for not much to Forte. Woodson made the play. A gain of 1. You can check out the all-new Fox Sports app featuring complete local and national sports coverage. Fox Sports Radio, live scores, video, and more. Get the #1 sports app in America for free on iTunes today. 2nd down and 9.
Well, I'd be expecting 21 to be coming on a blitz again. That's what he's been doing a lot of.
There he comes. Woodson's there for the sack. Number 21 made the play.
Been around the ball the entire second half, and just about on every passing down he is lined up on the slot and he's come on the blitz. And the Bears have been in a position to make a play on him, but that time Brandon Manu-Maliuna should have been able to pick him up. He was assigned to him, but just a good job by Charles Woodson. This guy does such a great job around the ball, and that's why they like to have him there in that slot position in their nickel packages.
5th Packers sack of the day. 3rd and 17. Just a 3-man rush, and still Cutler gets rid of it somehow to Forte, but they're going to say Cutler was down at the 2. Clay Matthews got there.
Clay Matthews does a great job of anticipating snap count, and you're going to see the speed off the ball. You know, you got an athletic guy like Clay Matthews and then a big man who's working backwards. That's hard to do. They've done a good job on Matthews throughout this game, but just the sheer speed of Matthews off the corner, he's able to get to Cutler.
So they're going to say that Cutler was down before he got rid of it. And from the very back of the end zone, Maynard will punt it. One step and a punt, and a good one. Tramon Williams on the Bears side of the 50 is brought down immediately, and a good play by Corey Graham. Nothing on the return. Packers will start in Chicago territory, up by 7. There's the Giants score in Washington. 7:37 left, up by 10. But it doesn't matter what they do if Green Bay wins this game. They lead by 7, and they start at the 46. Hand it off to Brandon Jackson. He gets 4. Say this for James Starks, who comes back in the lineup, the rookie, who didn't even play his senior year. He was a 6th-round pick out of Buffalo. He may not practice well, but when he's got the ball in his hands in this game, he looks like the running back with more burst than anybody the Packers have run out there the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I think they like him. I think Mike McCarthy likes what he is capable of doing, and as we talked about, it's about him becoming a better practice player. He's a raw talent, but he's gotten his opportunities, and he's done a good job with them here.
Here he is, spinning forward. They're going to mark him down immediately. A gain of just 1. Anthony Adams was there, and so now a 3rd down as the Packers try and take advantage of what their defense has done, which was force the short field with all the blitzes and the sacks, and now it's 3rd and 5.
Yeah, great field position. Neither team really has been able to do anything when they have had good field position, but this is a down where the Packers, you know, for the season have been pretty good, but neither team has been good converting on 3rd down today.
There's Bulaga with his 4th penalty. His 2nd false start.
Number 75, offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
1st-round pick out of Iowa. He's had a rough day.
Yeah, I think he was hoping that they'd call Melton on a neutral zone infraction, but yeah, he's had a tough one.
Makes it 3rd and 10. So the ball back where they started after Maynard had to punt out of the back of his end zone.
10 from the 46.
They sprint Rodgers to his right. And now he just hops out of bounds. What a good job by the Chicago defense, as they were helped by the penalty. No 1st down picked up by Green Bay, and even though Aaron Rodgers is smiling, He's had a couple of big ones to Greg Jennings, but for the most part, this Green Bay offense has been shut down.
Yeah, no, the Bears defense has been outstanding. To give this Packers offense the kind of field position that they just got and then force them to punt is just an excellent job. They've been really good all night long. And I think that's one of the reasons why they've got a chance. Yeah, they've given up some yardage in recent weeks, but they've got a chance in postseason, if for no other reason because of the play of the defense.
Jarrett Bush is downfield again. And Mastay, a first-year player, has had a tremendous day with the specter of number 23, Devin Hester, waiting deep. He's been about as good as the Packers could have hoped for. A 37-yard punt down at the 2.
You know, it's just an excellent job, Joe, and I know that, you know, having played with someone like Devin Hester and Deion Sanders, and, you know, we would hear teams talk about it like the Packers did all this week. Hey, we're just not going to punt to them. Well, that's hard to do. There's only a few punters in the league that can really be effective, directional, kicking it and doing those types of things, but Mastay's been outstanding.
Doing it on a night where the wind chill's 5 degrees down to 3 degrees. Over the left side, it's Forte. That was a quick shot of Sean Slocum, who is the special teams coordinator for Green Bay. He's the second one during Mike McCarthy's 5-year tenure now here with the Green Bay Packers, and that group has been picked apart all season long. And he's had to answer some tough questions. Well, his group's done a nice job when they've needed it most here in week 17.
And he's got to be working on fumes. I mean, I can't imagine that he got much sleep this week.
2nd and 6. Handoff to Forte. Bishop makes the tackle. Forte out to the 11. 3rd and short coming up, but the clock now winding down inside 5 minutes. Each side has 2 timeouts left. Green Bay up 7.
It's a pretty good job, though, by Chicago getting it off of the goal line and, you know, now setting up a 3rd and short.
There's Kevin Green, the outside linebackers coach for Green Bay. It's 3rd and 1. Throwing on 3rd and 1, and the pass is caught by Olsen for a first down. A 6-yard completion. Under 4 to go.
And, you know, Mike Martz on 3rd and short earlier in the game, they threw it, they failed to convert, and they come back to it. And you see the ball kind of come loose there on Greg Olsen, but he's able to bring it back in as he's going to the ground. A nice job of getting the 1 first down to get off of the goal line and give themselves some room to operate here.
Blitz coming off the edge. Cutler throws, and a one-handed catch by Olsen. He's trying to prove to you, Troy, that he is as talented as Mike Martz says he is. Martz said he's the fastest tight end he's ever had to work with, and he's good for 6.
Yeah, no, I'm not disputing that at all. I'm just suggesting that they could find ways to get him more involved. I know in talking with Mike Martz, he said that, you know, he feels bad that he hasn't been able to use him more as a receiver and do some of the things that he does so well, because he has had to be used more as a blocker, but they have gotten him the ball more here tonight.
Second down and 4, quick throw, and the ball is batted down. Charles Woodson. Woodson was a defensive player of the year last year. He hasn't had that type season here, but here today he's playing like a defensive lineman. He's at the line of scrimmage every snap.
Well, he was so good last year that I think he was so good last year as defensive player of the year that it's hurt him this year. Everybody thinks he's having a down season. Well, it was next to impossible to think that he was going to match what he did a year ago.
3rd down and 4. Cutler buys some time, picks up a first down. There was confusion at the snap. It looked like some of the Green Bay players stood up thinking there was a false start. There was no flag, and Cutler picks up 7 and a first down.
Everybody kind of relaxed initially, but they got the pressure. A.J. Hawk up the middle, and Cutler was able to, like B.J. Raji was the guy who had a chance on him, there before he got going up the field. But that was a concern of Dom Capers, is the scrambling ability of Jay Cutler and being able to extend plays, doing a nice job picking up the first down.
Time becoming a factor, 2.5 to go, 2 timeouts, and the 2-minute warning for Chicago. Over the middle, Olsen. Bishop in on the stop with Walden, and a gain of 6.
Guess who blitzed on that play?
21?
Yeah, he did. And so they're having to get the ball out pretty quick. That's why we're seeing Greg Olsen doing some of the things that he's doing. But Jay Cutler he has been under duress there in the pocket and forced to get it out of his hands quickly.
2 minutes left. We're at the 2-minute warning. 2 timeouts for Chicago, trying to spoil it for their arch rival, the Green Bay Packers, who lead by 7. The score from Washington, 3-point Giants lead. Giants have the ball, 4:50 left. 2 minutes left here. Green Bay 2 minutes off this scoreboard clock from claiming a playoff spot if they can hold Chicago. Davis. Rasheed Davis makes the catch. He had enough, it appeared, for a first down, and he does. Brought down by Pepra, who has an interception in this game.
Pretty good job of bringing that one in by Rasheed Davis.
9th play of the drive. Cutler throws. Shields defending. Johnny Knox. Looked like one of those potential back shoulder throws, and it never materialized. Now 2nd down and 10. Again, 2 timeouts remaining for Chicago as they are trying to knock the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs. Three-man rush. Pass behind Forte, caught by Matt Forte. And he's got another Chicago first down into Green Bay territory. A.J. Hawk on the stop. 1:16 left.
Pretty good weapon when you've got a guy like Matt Forte being able to come out of the backfield and be the receiving threat that he is.
Another blitz from Woodson. Cutler throws, sideline dropped by Knox off his left hand. Shields out there defending.
Yeah, you talked about that back shoulder fade that he tried throwing a couple plays ago, and it looked like that's what Knox was expecting on that play, and Cutler expected him to continue up the field. He leads him up the sideline, and Knox is kind of slowing down, thinking it's going to be more of the back shoulder throw.
If you're just joining us, for the Green Bay Packers, a win and they're in. Their offense, for the most part, which has been rolling, has been shut down. Chicago with nothing really to play for except the chance to knock out the Packers. Have played their starters throughout, somehow completing it. I think left-handed to Forte was Cutler, no gain, and now the Bears will spend their 2nd timeout.
It was left-handed. I mean, he got tied up. He, 4-man rush, and there's so much speed coming off those edges, and then the inside press. He's just trying to get away from his own guys and make a play, and the only thing he could do was deal it out left-handed to Forte.
And now it's 3rd down and 10. Here's a game summary for those of you joining us. The day for Cutler. He's been intercepted, as has Aaron Rodgers. Packers clinch a playoff berth with a win. Neither team's really been able to run the ball very well. The Bears better than the Packers. Total of 110 yards for Chicago, 61 for Green Bay. These two defenses have played extremely well, and the special teams have been good for Green Bay.
Been seeing a lot of blitzing by Dom Capers in this situation. They've been getting home, but they opened themselves up to a big play down the field.
Here comes Matthews off the edge, working on the rookie. The pass caught. Hester down inside the 35.
Sam Shields is in a great position to make a play. That time Capers does not bring the all-out blitz, doesn't bring Woodson off the edge. They instead play coverage. and they were in a position to make the play, but Shields just failed to make it.
Under 30 seconds left. Cutler. Aromashodu broken up by Tramon Williams. 20 seconds left, 2nd and 10.
Now here's the play we just saw with Tramon Williams, and it was kind of a defensive effort there by Aromashodu, because Tramon Williams was in a position there to drive back on that ball, and then here was the other play where Hester is able to make the play. Shields, who was in good position on the coverage, was stumbling as Hester's coming out of the break.
One timeout left for Chicago, 2nd and 10. This one for Hester, too high, picked off, and the Green Bay Packers will ride into the playoffs on that by Nick Collins.
They pressure you so much, Joe, that as a quarterback then you make a mistake, a high ball, and Nick Collins there to make a play. You know, when the ball sails on you over the middle of the field, you're in trouble, and Nick Collins has got as good a ball skills as any safety in football.
So the Packers are 10 and 6. They are in the playoffs as the number 6 seed. You see the handshake in midfield, Troy. I got to tell you, I've been impressed from the start with Lovie Smith's team to slug it out to the bitter end here in Green Bay, but it's Mike McCarthy's crew that stamps their ticket for the postseason. The Bears are the number 2 seed with the playoffs coming up.
Well, you can't say enough for the job that the Green Bay Packers have done all season long, what they've overcome. 2 games to play, have to win to get in. They do it. And now they're 3 games away from getting back to where they want to go, and that's the Super Bowl.
Green Bay relied on big plays from Dom Capers' defense, got plays from their maligned special teams. And in the end, an interception ends it by Nick Collins, his 4th of the year. Packers are in the playoffs. Back after this. It's a 10-3 final. Green Bay had just enough. The touchdown throw to Donald Lee, the only touchdown of the game. Nick Collins, the interception, ended the day for Jay Cutler and the Bears offense. 10-3 is the final. The Packers are the number 6 seed. Bonus coverage from Washington. The Giants and the Redskins. We say so long from Green Bay. Here's Sam Rosen and Tim Ryan.